Now back to local conditions. I had a picture of Stavanger, but it fell out of the presentation because I'm an urban planner and I always have a picture of the city, but it just disappeared on the way from Stavanger to here. So I start immediately with the Norwegian Wood project. The general condition of architectural practice, I think all over the world, is with the two criteria, cost and progress. That is our conditions. In the period from 2005 to 2008, I was the project manager for the Norwegian Wood project. The National Association of Norwegian Architects was responsible for the project. This was one of the main initiatives in the European Capital of Culture, Stavanger 2008. And this presentation is mostly based on experiences from this project, where integrated design processes were crucial to succeed. I have tried to extract 4 key notions that are important elements in this project. I think they can improve architectural practice also in the future. And these are ability, ambition, arena, ability, and agreement. And I will use examples from the projects, the Norwegian Wood building projects, the processes and the people to illustrate these. And also trying to extract some general strategies or actions. Norwegian Wood was to contribute to further develop the Norwegian timber city and tradition by realizing 15 innovative sustainable building projects and creating an arena for application and research within environmentally sound timber architecture. We claim that architecture that is not sustainable is irrelevant. And now, I hope I'll... Ambition. The Norwegian Wood project had ambitions, a vision. Since this was a Stavanger 2008 project, the ambition of an innovation, high quality and use of wood was not disputed. In addition, this in some way made all participants equal. No one is an expert in creating the future. This vision was operationalized with these 4 quality criteria. Innovative timber architecture, sustainable use of materials, low energy consumption, and universal design. The Norwegian Wood Buildings project had to... I have made this... these criteria was then defined more precisely as precisely as possible, and they had an undisputable minimal level. We don't arrange big cultural events like European Capital of Culture every day. So what do? We need model public developers, and also that they commission projects with ambitions. So municipalities around Norway and also the state has to be a model developer. The next is that we have to provide incentives for those private commercial developers. What's in it for them to do something out of normal, to be more ambitious? And the third action is for governments to set conditions through, for instance, a building legislation that you simply has to follow. This project is on one of the 3 plots that the municipality of Stavanger sold, with clear conditions in the contract that it has to be realized a Norwegian wood project, and also the activities that this implied. This is the biggest housing block in Europe in massive wood elements. And it was also given the local Byggeskikkprisen, I don't know what's that called in English, in Stavanger in 2009. The project was completed according to the contract in 2008, just as the financial crisis struck in. And the solution was that the developer had to let out the apartment instead of selling them. The developer took the biggest risk, and he lost a lot of money. So this is one of the big challenges, is that I think that's what we experience in the Norwegian Wood Project, is that who owns the ambition? It's often the government, the governmental institutions, and the municipality, the public servants. And who takes the risk? It's probably others. I'll come back to that. The next keynote is Arena. The Norwegian Wood Arena was a platform offering different activities, mostly for the building projects, providing cross-discipline exchange from the start, and transference of experience to facilitate innovation and secure that this was based on solid knowledge. These were the key issues and activities: developing and distributing knowledge, interdisciplinary collaboration, and also we provided a Norwegian wood expert team that covered the 4 quality criteria. We arranged architect competition, study trips, mostly to Austria, to the Vorarlberg area, workshops, and early phase consulting, which meant that each and every building project had workshops, and also with the expert teams from the start. In addition, there were open seminars that also others not directly engaged in this project could participate. Now, just an example of this interdisciplinary work. In this Norwegian Wood Project, it's mostly connected to the contact between the architect and the civil engineer, opposed to innovative timber use and energy efficiency. And, but it's also connected to the different participants when it comes to the value chain. This is from the Preikestolhytta, the mountain lodge at Preikestolen. There I just quote from the architects at the net sites. They sat for 2 days to figure this out. The static challenge to the use of Holzhundert, these massive wood elements, was the large span over the public spaces. The cafe and the restaurants area with measured 6 meters at its widest. And then they came up with this idea, and I claim that they wouldn't have done that if they had been sitting not together, but they did this together, the architect and the civil engineer. And they turned the layers of these elements inside out. And in the end, it also became a characteristic design within the interior of the cafe. And we also had research and development projects connected to the different building projects in Norwegian wood. And I'll just mention one of them: modern, sustainable, and cost-efficient timber facades. This was a project that was connected to Sirekjær housing project, one of the most ambitious of the building projects in Norwegian wood. Innovation Norway supported the project financially, and the architect firm in who had the responsibility for this was Studio Ludo architects. And there was this lab test, I'll show you, where they had 3 different kinds of claddings, 2 types of it was 2 types of shavings from pine, one thinner type, as in the traditional stave churches, and one more modern, thicker cut. And then the 3rd type, a more conventional wooden cladding. This example of because this was then both this architect firm and also the civil engineers at Sintef Byggworks working together with this project. And they also presented the report. This shows the most obvious, that the report was less boring to read, more pictures, less technical terms, but most importantly, these kind of projects support and helps persuade developers to try new solutions and dare to do innovation. Many of the elements in this Norwegian wood arena is further developed in now big national programs, and Fremtidens byer is one of them. And that is not only because of the methods, but also the individuals involved, both from NAL Ecobox and Future Built, but also individuals from, for instance, working in Stavanger, the municipality of Stavanger. And I don't think it's a coincidence that 5 out of 12 of the national approved building projects are in Stavanger. One should never underestimate the power of the individual. I miss the Norwegian wood family and the great personalities that participated. Perhaps a project like this attracts a certain kind of people, enthusiastic ones that are willing to take a risk and to work like hell. Individuals, this is not just about personal traits, but also about education and from the kindergarten to the university level, and also about processes. These individuals bring the experience and knowledge from, for instance, the Norwegian Wood project, along with them to new tasks and settings. 2 minutter igjen. Å, herregud. This is just an example. This is from the library of Vennesla. It's not a finished project. It's Helen and Hard. And when I asked Dag Strass, the picture on the, yeah, and he said that he thought that this project was the most clearly had been based on the experience from the Preikestol hut. This is energy houses. They are 7 square meters internally and 12 square meters externally. It says something about the thickness of the walls. They are constructed as an interdisciplinary partnership with Godalen College, where the woodworking section, the electrical section, and the mechanical section are each building their own parts of these small huts. Usually the students at the woodworking section are making stilts. The project is contributing to improve the skills of the next generations of craftsmen and raising the awareness of the next generation of consumers. These huts are going to be at the kindergartens, both in terms of energy resources, but also energy consumption. I'll just show this as an example of how important it is to engage the whole chain of participants when it comes to building and designing architecture. This is from the production hall at the Trebyggeriet, who provided the elements for the Marilund project you saw at the first picture. This is Lanternen, and now I probably have used up my time. And this is illustrating one of the big challenges, this was Sandnes kommune, had a commission, say, after architect competition, and there was no bidders. There was no one that wanted the commission because it was too complex. But there was one bidder after a while, and it was too expensive. So what they did was to have this new kind of contract that distributed the risk. How it's kind of an agreement contract. And this is the manufacturers and the entrepreneurs that prefabricated these columns for the lantern and also set it up in Sandnes, and it has become a landmark there. And I don't know what it's called, agreement with within the value chain, I've called it. And I think it's about, and I don't know the answer, but it's like a contract form that will distribute the risk more than we have been able, and more than the contracts today do. And now I just have to, corporate contracts, seamless processes, sharing the risk. Perhaps you know the answer. And I just have to show that Norwegian Wood isn't quite finished yet, because now this is going to be started building in 2012. March is the starting point. And this, I hope, will get enough money to be realized in Sveio. That's the only project that's outside Rogaland County. And then I will end up, since the next session is about communication, that there was an exhibition connected to the Norwegian Wood project, a laboratory. And this was a collaboration with the National Museum of Arts, Architecture and Design. The exhibition, after it's opened in Stavanger in 2008, has been traveling around from Oslo to Bodø, to Helgeland, to Mosjøen, Trondheim, Bergen, Fredrikstad, Hardanger, Stavern, Kristiansand, Risør, Ålesund. And this trip isn't finished yet. It will finish in 2012. And I'll just say that a lot of the visitors are children. In Fredrikstad, for instance, 80 children visit the exhibition every day as part of the Kulturelle Skolesekk. And this was my last picture, and probably over time.